Avantika, who are here. Why don't you say hi, Shamali? Why don't you say hello, Avantika?
Hi.
Okay,
Excited
so
to be here today.
that's great. We are all actually pretty excited. We've been going to campuses like Sriram every year. Sometimes there was a small group in the AV room at both campuses, and the other, like last year when I was traveling, I wasn't around, and Avantika carried forward a presentation at Bolsari, and like, okay, they weren't ready, prepared for seeing such a big audience. So it's always interesting to see how Sriram has encouraged independent counselors like us to share what we know, share our insights, and also learn from students there. Okay, a quick intro. As most of you know, the admissions process has a fairly fuzzy, especially the US or liberal arts colleges anywhere in the world have a holistic but fairly fuzzy admissions process. And there have been many issues of where people have always complained that this is not fair and all of that. But I'm not going to blame the system. What I'm here to talk about is why being warm or likable on paper is very important for campuses, especially smaller or mid-size, highly selective colleges. So it's very clear that admissions people get to see your grades. They know about the rigor of your curriculum. They also know about your fantastic academic interests where you probably do projects or research or apply what you learn through internships and so on and so forth. They have your resume already. They also get to see your extracurriculars, so they know your accolades or your interests and hobbies and all of that. What they don't know is how is it like to have breakfast with you or lunch with you or grab coffee. And that's something that they're curious to know because it's a collegiate setting where they want students to be welcomed. And they, through the voice in your essay, try to make that connection. So that's the fuzzy part. But I wouldn't blame them. They're half the way across the world. They need to do something to make sure that you're kind of given due credit, and students who can present that softer side and be likable are the ones who have an edge in that sense. So today's talk is going to be covering mostly about things related to this, and my slides will be self-explanatory, but I've also given some gyan over the years thinking about my role as a counselor helping students think through their personal journeys. So bear with me if it's too high sounding or stupid, but that's me. So you have to deal with me. And it's a very narcissistic platform currently because I love the fact that if I can speak to a screen and not get to hear, I don't actually like it. I'm just kidding. It's great to know that I can share something here, but it would have been even better if I was on campus and actually getting to see all of you. So fine, what's the flow of the event? The flow is simply the first 10 minutes, I'll do a quick intro of a few slides, followed by handing it over to Avantika and Shamali, who are also incidentally Sriram Aravali graduates. And Shamali went to a very writing-intensive college called Sarah Lawrence College. So Shamali, you can do that in your introduction. You can tell us a little bit more. And Avantika graduated from Ashoka. And she's been a huge asset in our organization. So kudos to liberal arts colleges in India too. So I'm going to switch to sharing my screen. As of now, it's not on presentation mode. A good personal story is actually a creative process. And the way I think about it, it's a creative process is where energy suddenly enters your brain and you suddenly think that, wow, this is a cool idea, or this is the way I want to represent myself. And that's clearly the act of a creative genie, something really entering from outside to sort of produce something cool or fun, which is truly you in some sense. And that's what we'll kind of want to do through this webinar, is to help you brainstorm and figure out how to generate topics. I know you're just listening, but I hope there's some value in what we say here. Probing deeper is an act, but sometimes it's also about an intention. And figuring out how to do that well is to know what values are important to you, or truly what strengths you bring to the fore? And again, don't just think about what college admissions people would want to hear. This is a conversation with yourself. And the whole idea behind a holistic application and the essay is designed to make you grow personally. So it's not a race to the top where you need to have a great essay. It's more about the reason why they put that essay so that you can introspect, reflect on your values, strengths, inspirations, interests, experiences. We've also found ways to help you brainstorm, and there are various techniques. So essence objects is something Shamli and Avantika will walk you through or give you some more insights on. I'll focus more on how to probe deeper with your values and what you could do with with that. So one of the things which I've seen is students really worry about their self-esteem. In this age of mental health being such a buzzword, it's very easy to get sort of sucked into what's going on in the world. And at the same time, we have our own sort of inhibitions or limitations, and we judge ourselves too quickly. So a good story could actually be about, how I discovered that my self-esteem cannot be a validation mechanism. I'm just giving you a tip, like, okay, an essay could be about anything. It could be as simple as that I realized after this experience that the values of self-esteem are very important to me. But that experience has to be something personal which you care about. The second thing, okay, some of these ideas haven't come from what I've been saying. I've been listening to our students, and these ideas come from them. It's just that I nudge them, and our team sort of helps them focus on what a resolution is. And I think part of our plan would be to read one essay and make you do a poll based on a rubric for a good essay. And that's where you'll kind of get to see why this is important. The second, of course, is, what other values or strengths do I bring? It could be, I think I'm very enterprising. I think I can do something if I really put my mind to it. It's a very common thing, right? So if you're given an opportunity which you never had taken up earlier, and you didn't think you could take it up or do well, but you finally did take it up, and because you were super motivated, you actually did well. So again, it's not about bragging about an achievement or an activity you were successful in, but the reflection should be about the idea that what enterprising really means, how to really take charge of things. Another way to look at a value could be, I care about the fact that we are not alone in the world. We need to solve problems together. The pandemic is what it is, but there are several other problems to deal with, and we can do it on a day-to-day basis. And that's where I feel, having a sense of, say, collaboration and figuring out how you can collaborate with people and also not be that person who's trying to hog the limelight and do everything else. So an essay could be about self-reflection and growth too. That, I was this kind of human being and it didn't really help. I thought I could pull off things on my own and not collaborate. So an essay is not just about you putting yourself up on a pedestal. It's really recognizing your vulnerabilities and saying that, hey, this is what I am. And because I've learned so much through this, I would want to sort of talk about it because that's me. That's me now. That's the new me, or whatever you want to say. So I think that's the power of brainstorming values with students we do. Of course, there are many more, and it's not an exhaustive list. There's gratitude, perseverance, appreciation of diversity, anything that is linked to an anecdote or an experience or insight that you really learned about or from other people would be fantastic. I'm going to move on to something which is I've been thinking about in general a lot these days, where students, given there's so much uncertainty, don't know how to connect with themselves and don't know how to realize their strengths. And these three words really caught my mind. A friend of mine wrote a book on being calm, confident, and focused, especially in the area of adolescents and high school kids. And sort of his work is with many kids who go to top colleges. So his name is Dr. Ben Bernstein, and we've had very good relationships, and we've been talking about this. So when I reflect back on these three words all the time when I'm meeting students, and I feel that if a story is about a time when you were not calm and something did not go the way you had planned because you were not calm, was one of the big reasons why it didn't go the way you had to. Again, reflecting on that and writing that story is good enough. You don't have to choose a broad stroke sort of where you kind of cover life from the time you were in kindergarten to, say, final year of high school. It's anything, a small moment, and that's what you need to capture. So that's called the keyhole method of finding, say, topics and ideas. Likewise, again, you say that, okay, generally I'm a very confident person, but on this occasion, my confidence slipped, and it was something that I really had to reflect on. I made a goof up because of whatever reasons, and I know that I have a template to solve that. I can deal with it in the future. So I think that's another beautiful, say, example of an essay that you could work on. Another one could be, I'm generally very focused. I know what to do when, and I manage my time well, all of that. But there's one time I didn't do it. So a lot of these things are something within you. So don't look for essays and ideas which only show you in good light. Have those learning moments defined.